I saw the king kill his own brother. I never thought Yam Flower would deliver me to such a dark secret. That day, as I stood behind the baobab tree in the palace courtyard, I saw betrayal, desperation, and death unfold before my eyes. My name is Ode, a simple trader, and what I witnessed still keeps me awake at night. The king and his younger brother, Prince Olu, had always been different. The king was reserved, a man of few words but a master at controlling people. Olu was the opposite, bold, outspoken, and deeply loved by the people. Where the king ruled with fear, Olu moved hearts with compassion. But their differences had grown into a dangerous divide. For months, rumors had been swirling. The kingdom was suffering under heavy taxes, and people whispered that the king was hoarding wealth for himself. Meanwhile, Prince Olu had been quietly visiting villages, helping farmers, and speaking out about change. "It is not right," Olu had told the elders during a council meeting just a week before his death. "The people toil in the fields, and yet they sleep hungry while the palace feasts. This is not the kingdom our father built." The elders had been silent, afraid to speak against the king. But Olu's words had reached the people, and unrest began to stir. The morning of the killing, I had arrived at the palace early to deliver my goods. The air was heavy, and I noticed more guards than usual. Something was wrong. I was unloading my cart near the kitchens when I heard shouting coming from the courtyard. Curiosity got the better of me, and I crept toward the sound, hiding behind one of the large pillars. There, under the baobab tree, stood the king and Olu, their voices sharp as knives. "You humiliated me in front of the elders." The king growled, his face red with anger. "I told them the truth," Olu shot back, his hands clenched into fists. "The kingdom is falling apart under your rule, and you refuse to see it. The people deserve better." The king stepped closer to Olu, his tone low but dangerous. "Better? You think you can offer them better? You've been feeding them lies, turning them against me. They don't need me to turn against you," Olu shouted. "They see it with their own eyes. Your greed, your corruption, it's choking the life out of this kingdom." The king's expression darkened. He glanced at the guard standing nearby, then back at Olu. "You think you can take the throne from me? My own blood. This isn't about the throne," Olu said. "It's about the people, our people. Father always said the king serves the kingdom, not the other way around." The mention of their father seemed to strike a nerve. The king's jaw tightened, and for a moment, he was silent. Then he laughed, a bitter, humorless laugh. "Father was a fool," he said, his voice dripping with venom. "He believed in honor, in fairness. And where did it get him? Dead, betrayed by the very people he trusted." Olu shook his head. "No, Father's mistake was trusting you." The courtyard fell silent. Even the guards shifted uncomfortably, as if they knew the line had been crossed. The king took a deep breath, as if trying to calm himself. But when he spoke again, his voice was cold and final. "You have left me no choice, Olu. You wanted a fight. Here it is." Olu laughed bitterly. "Do it, then. Kill me. But know this, you can bury my body, but you can't bury the truth. The people will see you for what you are." I watched, frozen, as the king reached for the dagger at his belt. The sun glinted off its blade as he held it up. For a moment, I thought he might stop. That he might remember this was his brother kneeling before him. But his eyes were empty, void of any emotion. With one swift motion, he plunged the dagger into Olu's chest. The sound of the blade slicing through flesh was one I will never forget. Olu gasped, his body jerking before crumpling to the ground. Blood spread across the earth, pulling around the roots of the baobab tree. The king wiped the blade on his robes and turned to the guards. "Bury him," he ordered. Tell the people he fled the kingdom after being caught plotting treason. Make sure they believe it. As I stood there, hidden behind the pillar, my mind raced. I had always thought the palace was a place of power and wisdom. But now, I saw it for what it truly was, a stage for lies and betrayal. I left the palace that day, my sack of yam flour abandoned in the courtyard. For weeks, I couldn't eat or sleep without seeing Olu's lifeless body, without hearing his final words. The king announced that Olu had died in exile, and the people mourned him as a traitor. But I knew the truth. I had seen it with my own eyes. The baobab tree still stands in the palace courtyard, its roots deep in the soil where Olu's blood was spilled. And every time I pass the palace, I wonder how long it will be before the king's thirst for power turns on someone else. And that, my friends, is the tragic tale of betrayal, power, and the price of truth. What would you have done if you were in Aid's shoes? Would you speak out or stay silent? Let us know in the comments below. If this story moved you, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share it with someone who loves powerful stories, and subscribe to Pomo Storybox for more captivating tales.